Hey, this is Micah. I'm going to be doing a review on the card game Blood Bowl Team Manager. So basically, the Blood Bowl is a popular miniatures game, and Team Manager is kind of an offshoot of that in a card game format. Basically, in this game, you are a manager of players trying to become the most famous, really, the most manager of a team, football team. So. Further ado, I will open up and show you what's in the game. Okay, to start out, you, as a player, get to choose one of these 6 factions. So, you got the humans, the wood elves, the Skaven, orcs, dwarves, and then the chaos. So, you've got cards from like 1 to like 4. So here's a 4. Here's a 1, and basically, the higher the star power, the better the card. Next, you have the star players. You basically have 2 different organizations. You have basically these are all the order factions, so elves, dwarves, and humans, and this is the chaos faction. So chaos, Skaven, and orcs. So star players, they can go on any team as long as they coincide with that organization. So a elf, dwarf, or human character can be in any of those factions. So you can have an elf faction that has mainly human star players or dwarven star players, etc. And same thing with the chaos factions. So you will have this cool coin that's called a turn marker. Basically, that's all it does. Then you have tokens for each of the teams. You use these tokens when you're playing with the star players. So if you're a blue team, you put the blue team on the star players, so that the other player, if he was playing the dwarves for instance, wouldn't see you stealing his character. It would be your own character, not his. So the main goal of this game, there's 4 of these. Main goal in this game is to get the most fans. So these trackers scan up and down. So that's the Tim side, this is the one side, and then whoever gets the most fans at the end of the game is the winner. So next, what we have are these cheating tokens. Move these out of the way. Cheating tokens come in different variants. You've got stars, so you get them face down, and then at a certain point in the game you'd flip them and you would get their benefit. So this one would give me a flag, which means a fan. Some of the other things you get are just like a double fan, 1 star, 2 star, 3 stars. Stars are good, so that's a good thing to get. Or you can have the negative one and get a whistle. If you get a whistle, that means that that player, the character you played, is expelled from that match. So then you have football markers, which you use during the game, which I'll explain that later. Another thing I can show are these dice. So you get these 2 dice, and you use these when you tackle. Whenever you tackle, you roll explosion, sign, whatever that is. That's a tackle. If you roll the X, that's a self-tackle, so it's like you ground yourself, and then there's a blank and nothing happens. So you roll the dice, and I will get to that in a bit. So this right here is the highlight deck. So whenever you play a game, you flip it over, and then you and your opponent would play cards on both sides. So basically how this goes is, if your opponent would play some cards here, he would get those 2 bonuses for participating, whereas if you go here, you get those 2 points for participating. But if one of you wins the match, the person is going to get what's in the middle. So these are star players, so from the star player deck. So these are highlights, and then here are the Spike magazine cards. There are basically special events that are in here, like this one, which says all-star conditioning, players get tackle this time around, basic stuff like that. Or you can get a tournament. So tournaments are like the normal highlights, only the tournaments give you a better payout. So you get more fans. Like this one gives you a buttload of fans, and it's generally a lot better if you win these. So, and the last thing I will show are the upgrades. So you've got you have generic upgrades like this one that any player can use. You'll flip one over, gives you ability, so hired wizard or whatever. So these upgrades you can use during your turns. And then you have special team upgrades that only you can get, and they're usually better than general ones. So like this one says dodge type thing, response, exhaust this card to force an opponent to reroll 1 dice when your opponent attempts to tackle one of your players. So it's a defensive one for the elves. So with that, I'm going to show you how setup of this game would go. Okay, this is kind of crowded, but over here, the Spike Magazine cards. This is the tournament that you flip over, and then over here we've got the highlight deck. You flip over those cards, and that's the cards you'll play out for the round. And then you've got the different all-star decks. You got Chaos, the order deck, and then you have the upgrades. So those are all over there. So on your turn, you would draw 6 cards, and then you would decide which side and place you'd want to place your cards. So I would look at my hand and I would say, gee, I want to put an elf catcher here. So you place your guy there, and what that means is that your opponent has to put a card on any other has to put it on another highlight before he can copy your move and put a card on that side. So his turn, he would say he's playing the Chaos. He would take a card, put his here. He would take a card from yours, put it here. He'd take a card, put his here, and then the round would start. And if you wanted, it's optional. You could put a card on the tournament as well. So you put your strong guy there. You put one of his guys there, and you would fight for that. So the goal in each of these matchups is to get the most star power in that matchup. So also footballs are going to be placed on each of these cards, and they can be taken by another player, and it adds the point value to that team. So my guy has a football icon, so that means he can grab the football from the middle. So he grabs it from the middle, presses on him, and he gets more points. So there's basically four different icons. You've got the tackle icon. That means you can roll attack dice. How it goes is, if you have a higher attack value, you roll 2 dice and choose the result. If it's tied, you roll 1 dice, and if you're attacking someone higher than you, the defender chooses the result. So you get the football, you get the tackle, you've got these arrows, which means you draw a card, and then that card you draw replaces a card in your hand. So if you've got really crappy cards, you'd use that ability to get cards. And then the last one is the cheating token. So what that means is, if you have a cheating skull token on the card, place a cheating token on your card. And then at the end of the round, you would reveal it and do what it says. So this person would have 2 additional star power to them. So whenever you win, you get the payout. So this guy would get a fan straight up just for volunteering. So you get a fan. then he would get a couple of the star players to put in his deck. So, and that's pretty much it. So that's pretty much how this game works. Although you are dealing a lot with these upgrade cards, that alone makes the game a little bit rigorous, trying to remember all the stuff you have and everything, which pretty much gives it the strategy. Without the upgrade cards, it'd be a very straightforward game, and it's an alright game in my opinion. So fun to play every once in a while, but it's not a huge classic. So my review on the game. Thanks, guys.